human rights violations, cold-blooded genocide, or operating a nuclear black market. Under the umbrella of Western patronage, India can get away with it all. In recent days, 7 kilograms of natural uranium valued at $2.9 million was confiscated by the Maharashtra police from two street criminals, Jigar Pandey and Abu Tahir Afzal Hussain Chaudhry in Nagpur. 7 kilograms of natural uranium contains about 0.049 kilograms of U-35, which can be enriched to weapon-grade material. Imagine if this leaked uranium, which can be easily used for making dirty bombs, had landed in the hands of Hindu extremists. You know what? I don't even want to imagine, because the sheer thought of the magnitude of the potential catastrophe sends chills down my spine. Let's just say it could have very well escalated to a full-scale regional nuclear conflict with the potential to grow into a global conflict. The question is, how could street criminals with absolutely no education or expertise get access to radioactive material? Is it actually that simple? Or does it point towards a bigger problem, that of the Indian nuclear black market? As one digs deeper, one discovers that this was not the first time and is probably not the last time. There is enough documentary evidence on nuclear security lapses spread over the last few decades that should make policymakers and the strategic security community sit up and take notice. From criminal gangs getting hold of several kilograms of semi-processed uranium belonging to a state-owned mine in Meghalaya, federal politicians orchestrating an operation to siphon 100 kilograms of uranium from Jharkhand, mining employees selling milled uranium to militant groups, to leftist guerrillas strapping uranium ore obtained from government-run milling complexes, the list, folks, is quite never-ending. According to international media reports, India reported 25 cases of missing or stolen radioactive material. 52%, yes, a whopping 52% of the cases were attributed to theft and 48% to mystery. Since there's a huge possibility that uranium could be trafficked to non-state actors or other rackets, the IAEA, the nuclear watchdog, mandates that accidents be reported to its incident and tracking database mechanism, but India's regulatory body openly flouts such dictates, and such incidents are habitually swept under the carpet. Factual evidence clearly states that India is involved in trafficking nuclear material in connivance with international players, though there are many examples, but I'm just going to begin quoting a few here. Did you know that Taiwanese authorities intercepted a ship carrying dual-use aluminum oxide from India to, wait for this one, North Korea? The oxide is an essential ingredient of rocket casings and is prohibited for export to rogue countries. Shocked? Wait, there is plenty more. On January 26, 2003, CNN pointed out that Indian company NEC Engineers Private Limited shipped 10 consignments to Iraq containing highly sensitive equipment entailing titanium vessels and centrifugal pumps. Still more. In December 2006, a container packed with radioactive material had been stolen from an Indian fortified research atomic facility near Mumbai. Illegally mined uranium raises concerns about nuclear safety and security in India. On the 4th of November 2019, the Washington Post wrote, and I quote, "The Nuclear Power Corporation of India, NPCIL, has now confirmed that there was a cyber attack on the Kundankulam nuclear power plant in Tamil Nadu in September. The nuclear power plant's administrative network was breached in the attack." On the 4th of November 2019, the Washington Post wrote, and I quote, "The Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited has now confirmed that there was a cyber attack on the Kundankulam nuclear power plant in Tamil Nadu in September. The nuclear power plant's administrative network was breached in the attack." The irony of the situation is that despite such incidents, the international suppliers of nuclear technology are finalizing nuclear deals with India without analyzing security issues related to nuclear safety in the Indian nuclear industry. I'm sure the question you're asking yourself is that why the hell are these companies risking world peace, and more to the point, why are the democracies of the first world who bombed Iraq on the mere suspicion of weapons of mass destruction mum on the whole issue? Oh, and let's not forget the so-called nuclear watchdog, the IAEA. The answer, folks, lies in the Western strategic designs for this region. The fact of the matter is that Western powers led by the United States are so blinded in their pursuit of curtailing the regional influence of China and giving India the role of the regional marshal that they conveniently turn a deaf ear and a blind eye to India's nefarious activities, even if it means challenging global peace.